Hi everyone, and welcome to this podcast recorded as part of the EXIL project. This project aims to share experiences and help exiled students feel more included in higher education. I'm Fabienne Ferrerons, Program Coordinator for Students in Exile at Jean Moulin University Lyon 3 in France. Today, we'll hear from 3 students who have lived through exile. They will tell us about their journeys, the challenges they faced, and how they managed to overcome them to succeed in their studies. We'll first listen to Rita Katoola, then to Sharkerullah Azizi, and finally to Fatemeh Haidary. Rita, the floor is yours.
I'd like to take you on a journey today, not across countries, but across borders that are often invisible. The borders between survival and dignity, between being seen and being erased. Before 2012, I had what most would call a normal life. I was studying chemistry at university in Iraq. At 16, I created my first student association to help other students succeed. I was active, I was hopeful, I was building a future. But in Iraq, being part of a minority meant living with constant fear. The political situation was fragile, and eventually we had to leave. We fled to Turkey, hoping to reunite with family in the USA through the UNHCR resettlement program. But life had other plans. We stayed in Turkey for 7 years. 7 years of waiting. 7 years of learning. 7 years of realizing that exile wasn't just my story. It was a global reality. I worked. I learned Turkish. I joined international organizations. And I began to see the world differently. Eventually, we were given the chance to move to France. It happened fast. We landed in a small village in the south. The welcome was warm. The challenges came later. No French classes. No system ready to include me. I had to teach myself the language at home, alone. When I went to France Travail, the advisor looked at my experience and said, "Madame, forget your past. You'll need to start from zero. Start from zero. After all I had lived, after all I had learned." They sent me to a literacy center, only to be told I was too educated to join. I was stuck between being too much and not enough. That was the moment I understood. If the system won't give me space, I'll create my own. So I taught myself French. I contacted 30 universities across France one by one. Only a few responded. Lyon welcomed me into the second year of a bachelor's degree. It wasn't easy. I arrived alone. No academic French, no housing. The Kraus had denied my request for a university room. At the last minute, I found a room in a Lebanese student residence. At university, I was the invisible student. No one knew me. I struggled to understand lectures. I was marked like any French student, but I had to work 10, 20, 50 times harder. I cried. I doubted myself. I heard classmates comment on my accent. Professors comment on my silence. Some friends sold me their notes because I wasn't fast enough to take my own. In spite of everything, I kept going. Giving up was never an option. Eventually, I completed my degree in Lyon, then moved to Montpellier for a master's in political science, which I passed with honors. And that's when I asked myself, how many others are silently struggling, like I did? I didn't want anyone else to go through this alone, so I created a support community. It started on social media. It became an association, helping refugees navigate higher education in France. Because when I first arrived, I had motivation, I had capacity. But the only thing offered to me was silence. That's why I say this. Don't tell people to start from zero. Ask them what they've already built. Today I'm a PhD candidate in political science. I work on refugee integration policies in higher education. I want to rethink how we welcome, how we include, how we empower. Because no one should lose their potential to bureaucracy, borders, or bias. My story is not exceptional. It's simply invisible and today. I want to make it visible, so that others too can write and live their own stories.
Thank you, Rita. Now let's listen to Sharkerullah.
My name is Azizi Sharkerullah and I come from Afghanistan, from the city of Mazar-e-Sharif, in the north of the country. I obtained my high school diploma in 2009. Then I went to earn a bachelor degree in law at the University of Balkh in 2012, followed by a master degree from Salam University in Kabul in 2020. From 2015 to 2021, I worked as a defense lawyer for the Independent Bar Association of Afghanistan. From 2018 to 2020, I volunteered with a civil society organization to raise awareness, provide advice, and prevent violence against women. In 2021, I joined the Ministry of Justice as a specialist responsible for training staff and strengthening their legal skills. After the fall of the government on the 15th August 2021, I had to leave the country. I arrived in France in January 2022 as a political refugee. My family joined me 7 months later. Today, I am in the second year of a master's degree in international law, specializing in international organization law at Jean Moulin University Lyon 3. I currently live in the city of Mâcon with my family. I am the father of 6 children, 3 girls and 3 boys. When I arrived in France, I didn't know any single word of French. I was housed by the Asylum Seekers Center in the small town of Saint-Loup-sur-Semouse in the Bourgogne-Franche-Comté region. I quickly obtained my papers. From the beginning, I taught myself French, then took 2 months of classes with the OFII, the French Office for Immigration and Integration. I had my bachelor's degree officially recognized as equivalent through the INIC-NARIC website. My social worker helped me to register at the university. I took the entrance exam for the university diploma, pathway from students in exile, which I started in September 2022 at Lyon 3. This program taught me the language, academic methodology, French culture, and legal French. As part of the DU, I also volunteered with the Charming de Mâcon Association, which runs a night shelter for homeless people. Thanks to this first experience, I now work as a night supervisor at the night shelter run by this association. The DU Passerelle, or Pathway, program was my main hope for being able to resume my studies. This program helped me a lot because I obtained the DALF C1, Diplôme approfondi de la langue française, which was one of the criteria for entering law school. In addition, when I was enrolled in the DU Passerelle program, 2 associations got involved. UNIR, Université et Réfugiés, which introduced us to the Mon Master platform, Réfugiés et Enseignement Supérieur, which helped refugees and asylum seekers gain easier access to higher education. Finally, the CDO, Information, Documentation and Guidance Center at Jean Moulin University Lyon 3, is a service that supports students in their academic careers. I had individual and group meetings to help me choose my master's degree specialization. Today, I am in the second year of my master's degree at Lyon 3 University. I have completed my first year and I'm currently looking for a 6-month internship. I am involved as a member of the events team for the AMI Masters Association at Lyon 3 University, and I also volunteer with UNICEF in Lyon.
Il y a 7 mois,
7 months ago, I got my driver's license in France.
En début de
At the
cette
beginning
année,
of
j'ai
this year,
donné
I
une
gave a
conférence
lecture
à
in
Lyon
Lyon on the
sur les droits
rights
des femmes
of
afghanes
Afghan women at the request
à la
of
demande
Amnesty
d'Amnesty
International
International
on the occasion of
à l'occasion de journée de
the
8
8th
mars.
March Day.
En 2023,
In
pour
2023, to
souvenir
support
mes
myself
bonnes
and
et
my
celui de ma
family,
famille,
I
j'ai
worked in
travaillé
the
dans
restaurant
le restauration le
industry
week-end
on weekends
et
and
la
at
nuit,
night,
vu
since
que la
I
semaine
was at
j'étais
day
au
passerelle during the
passerelle.
week.
Récemment, j'ai
Recently,
passé
I
un
had
entretien
my
de naturalisation
naturalization
à la
interview
préfecture de
at the
Saône-et-Loire
Saône-et-Loire prefecture
pour
with
mieux
a view to
m'intégrer et
integrating
insérer
better and
socialement et
finding my place
professionnellement en
socially and
France.
professionally in
Pour
France.
améliorer mon
To
français,
improve my
je me suis
French,
rapproché
I
de
have
nombreuses
joined several
associations,
associations,
France Service
France Service
et la
and
MJC de mon
MJC
quartier.
in my
Et je
neighborhood,
participe
and
régulièrement à leur
regularly
activité
take part in their activities.
pour venir des
Concerning the
difficultés
difficulties
et
and
des
problems,
problèmes. Tout d'abord,
firstly,
concernant
learning
l'acquisition
French,
de langue
which
française
is
particulièrement
particularly
riche
rich and
et
complex
complexe,
language,
afin
in
de
order to
pouvoir
be able to
comprendre un
understand
texte
a
en
text in
français,
French
puis
and then
rédiger
write
une
an essay
dissertation
or
ou une
summary
synthèse,
was very complicated.
c'était très compliqué. Le isolement
Isolation was also
aussi était
particularly difficult
particulièrement
to
difficile
overcome.
à surmonter quand on arrive
When you arrive
dans
in a
un
new
nouvel
country
pays
and
et
a
dans une
new
nouvelle
society,
société, on
you
ne
don't
connaît
know
personne
anyone, and
et
sometimes
parfois
you
on
are
a
ashamed
honte
to
de
ask for
demander
help
l'aide
and
et on ne sait
don't
pas
know
comment demander
how
cette
to ask for
aide.
it.
C'était
That
aussi
was
une
also a
difficulté.
difficulty.
Pendant
class
les cours,
I
en ce
currently
moment, quand
struggle
même,
to
je
take
n'arrive
note
pas à
verbal
prendre des
time,
notes mot par mot.
verbatim.
Ce sont
My
donc les
classmates still
camarades qui
send me their
envoient
notes by email,
leurs cours
or I
par mail
consult
ou
them
bien
on
je
their
les
drive.
consulte sur leur
Then
drive.
I print them out so
Ensuite,
I
je
can
les
learn and
appuie
review
pour
them.
pouvoir apprendre et
If
réviser.
I don't understand a
Si je
subject,
comprends pas un
I do
sujet,
my
ce
own
que
research.
j'ai pris, je fais mes
I am
propres
very
recherches.
grateful to my
Je
classmates
suis
for
très
helping me.
reconnaissant envers mes camarades qui m'ont
However,
aidé.
what bothers
Cependant,
me
ce qui
is
me
that
gêne,
I have not yet
ce
managed
que je n'ai
to
pas
build
encore
strong
réussi
friendships
à
with the
construire
other
des
students.
amitiés fortes avec les autres étudiants.
But I have been able
Mais
to
j'ai faut établir
establish sincere
des liens sincères
and
et
deep
profonds
connections
dans
in
ma
my
vie
professional
professionnelle et
and social
sociale.
life.
J'ai
I
le
feel that we
sentiment que nous
remain
restons
isolated in truly conveying
seuls
our
dans
specific
la
situation
compréhension réelle
and
de
the
notre
extent of our
situation spécifique et
challenges.
de la mesure de nos problèmes.
How I
Et quand
overcame them,
je les
as
remonter,
explained,
comme j'ai
my
expliqué
solutions,
quand même les solutions,
I established a simple
j'ai
routine,
installé une
attending
routine
classes at the
simple,
university, then
cours à la faculté,
going to the library to review my notes.
bibliothèque pour revoir mes
I
fiches de cours.
benefited greatly from
Et j'ai beaucoup
the support and
bénéficié du
understanding
soutien de
of my
la
wife and children.
compréhension de mon épouse et de mes enfants. Il m'a fallu beaucoup de persévérance, être contente pour les petites victoires et travailler sans relâche.
Thank you, Sharkerullah. To close this podcast, let's listen to our final guest, Fatemeh.
My name is Fatemeh. I'm from Afghanistan. I have lived in Lyon, France for almost 3 years. As I was studying in Afghanistan, I chose to learn French instead of English. Each semester, we had to take exams in order to evaluate our level. Once, before taking the DELE B2 exam, I had an accident and I couldn't take the exam while all my friends had passed and got scholarships. Another time, before an exam, the regime changed and the institution which was organizing exams had closed its center in all the country, in Afghanistan, thus cancelled the exams. At that time, I was working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Because of some circumstances and the situation in my country, I was forced to leave Afghanistan and migrate to Iran. There, I applied to Jean Moulin University, and as I was learning French, I received my university acceptance letter. A few months later, I came to France. Throughout my journey, I have received various types of support. The most important types have been social and human support without any prejudice. Language classes, advice for my studies, and social assistance have enabled me to develop my skills and self-confidence. One of my fondest memories is meeting my teachers. Most of them were demanding, but very kind and understanding. My biggest challenges were the linguistic and cultural difficulties here in France. When I first arrived, the language was my biggest difficulty. The French I had learned before in Afghanistan was very different from the French people speak here. It is still a challenge for me today. And when I came for the first time in French classes and groups, students who already knew each other from the year before struggled to accept a new one. I felt very isolated. This prevented me from speaking easily, as I was not very present at university or outside the home. Even though my reading, listening, and writing skills were good, my main problem was speaking and communication. I overcame my problems through hard work, perseverance, and seizing opportunities. For me, the first step towards progress is acceptance. I accepted loneliness and tried to send my CV everywhere I could, even though I often received no response. I knew that the only way to improve my language was to dive into a real environment. All I was learning had to be used in my daily life. Otherwise, I was forgetting. Moreover, following classes and creating a network with other people helps me to develop my skills and my self-confidence. In Afghanistan, I was active since my teenagehood. I was writing and publishing articles about women's situation, social pressures, and girls' life conditions.
de vie des filles. J'ai poursuivi mes études en droit et
I
sciences
continued
politiques
my
à
studies
l'université
in law and
d'Herat. En même
political
temps, j'ai
sciences.
participé à des projets
At the same time, I
professionnels et
participated
bénévoles,
in
notamment
professional
sur
and voluntary
l'éducation des
projects,
femmes, la lutte contre
particularly
la
in the
corruption,
areas of women's
et
education,
aussi la
the fight
protection
against
de
corruption,
minorités.
and the
J'ai
protection
été
of
aussi membre de
minorities.
la société civile.
I
J'ai
was also
participé
a
à des
member of civil
activités sociales.
society and participated in social
Aujourd'hui,
activities.
grâce à
Today,
mes expériences
thanks to my
personnelles et
personal and
professionnelles
professional
et ma
experiences
compréhension
and my deep
profonde des
understanding
défis et
of the
réfugiés,
challenges
je peux
faced by
être
refugees, I have
élu
been
comme
elected
représentant
as a
pour
representative
faire
to give a voice to
entendre la voix
exiles,
des exilés,
refugees,
des
and
réfugiés
migrants.
et des migrants. En réalité, je
Actually,
cherchais
I was looking
un
for an
stage
internship
pour
for my
ma
second
deuxième
year
année de
of my
master
master degree
en
in
expertise et
international
risques
risk
internationaux
management
à
at the
l'Université Lyon
University
3.
of Lyon 3.
Par hasard, j'ai découvert ce
By
projet.
chance, I discovered this project.
Et un test de langue.
After several interviews and a language test, I reached the final stage, which was the parliamentary elections. As I did not have a large network of friends here, I used my old contacts with friends and colleagues and launched a small campaign in France.
Mes amis et mes collègues et lancé une petite campagne en France.
In the end, I was elected as one of the representatives in the Parliament of Exiles. My goal at the Parliament of Exiles is to create a national digital platform to gather the experiences and needs of immigrants, exiles, and refugees, and to offer them a space where they can express their priorities in their daily lives.
Exprimer leurs priorités dans leur vie quotidienne.
My goal is to continue my professional and social activities at the international level. I want to work in the political and cultural sphere of the United Nations. I also want to write my own book to share my story, my struggles, and my hopes with future generations. My message to those following a similar path is to never lose hope, no matter how difficult things get. Seize opportunities because effort and perseverance always pay off in the end.
Thank you, Rita, Sharkerullah, Fatemeh for sharing your stories with us today. It's been truly inspiring. And thank you to everyone listening. We hope you'll join us again for the next episode of the Exile Project podcast.